Hello, folks, and welcome to Got Your Back Short Shift Edition. Brought to you by Mid-City Construction Management. Yes, they're a locally owned family company specializing in civil construction projects for over 40 years, from roadways to excavation, underground utilities, paving, and concrete. They've played a huge role in the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding area since 1980, and they are looking for quality people right now. All levels of qualifications for equipment operators, grounds people, concrete workers, snow removal, full and part-time positions are available. For a full list of everything that's available, go to mid-city.ca. As we check in with our man Jason Strudwick tonight, Battle of Alberta #1 on the year, Struddy, but boy, that had an exhibition feel for a lot of that game, I have to say. I don't know if you agree, but this exhibition season, that's okay. Only, 4 more to go? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on the other side. I think as a player, I like to have opportunity to show what I can do, right? I think that especially as a younger player, the veterans like Kadri, these type of guys, they're not doing much, but the young guys and then the guys on the edge, you want to have as many opportunities. So I understand what the fans are thinking, but as a former player, I like the chance to show what I can do.
Yeah, Gregor's always been all over the number of exhibition games that the league,
Sure.
that the league allows.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 for the Oilers. That does feel excessive, but you have a lot of guys in camp, and I guess some of these guys haven't played a ton of hockey over previous years. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll grind through it tonight. I mean, the Calgary Flames didn't treat this like an exhibition game. That was quite the lineup they dressed, my man.
Fully loaded. Well, almost fully loaded. I thought they were deep. Obviously starting netminder, a good chunk of their D, a good chunk of their top 6, 7, 8, 9 forwards, whatever. They were ready to go, and you could see that they're really trying to be just treat it like a regular season game. It's hard when you're this far away as a veteran to think that way, but that was the intention from their head coach. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's dig in a little bit on some takeaways for you. We'll start with the guys who we're paying a lot of attention to, kind of those bubble guys in training camp, Dylan Holloway and Marcus Niemelainen. Start first, though, with Holloway, since we've been talking so much about him. I thought even with a deep Calgary lineup, the one thing you still notice with him is he's got NHL speed all day long. And to me, that stood out, but maybe not the strongest performance.
He looks really strong as far as skating. He looks strong on his skates. Does a lot of good things. But the one thing that really stood out today is when he went one-on-one or is in a puck battle with a NHL player, not a guy who's a fringe one or a guy who is hoping to be an NHL player. It didn't go well. And that is not because he's not a good player. It's simply because he doesn't know. He doesn't know how good NHL players are. I'm thinking of 2 specific incidents where in the second period, he had a one-on-one against Noah Hannafin, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Tried to take the puck away, tried to chip it around Hannafin. Hannafin just knocked it down, tapped it back up to his forward and said, "Thank you very much. We're good to go." Later on, as a power play for the Edmonton Oilers, Dylan Holloway drives the puck in wide like you're supposed to on his own entry, tries to just do the old tap back to the D-man. He showed it too much. Guess who was there? Backlund, one of the best defensive players in the NHL, not in Calgary, in the NHL, gets it, ice it down. But you know what? Those are lesson learned, and it's going to be more of that. So, it's something to consider because you can look at against your peers and against guys that are, trying to get up to where you are. But NHL players are there for a reason. They know those tricks. They've seen it for 5, 10, sometimes 15 years in some of these guys, Shocker.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about the fact that the speed was still there, but these veteran guys just seem to know. You go into even something like a puck battle and just, he goes in there kind of with reckless abandon and he's going really, really fast, but just a smart, sage defender, slight angling of the body and put him on, on the wrong side of it. And now he's working his way back. It just smart veteran plays happening around him that he's only going to just have to learn through experience, getting into more of those battles against experienced guys and figuring it out. Was -3 tonight, couple of shots on net, only took 1 draw and lost it. So probably a quieter night for Dylan Holloway compared to what we've seen. And as competition ratcheted up around him tonight, definitely was exposed a little bit. How about Marcus Niemelainen for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I like about him. I like his size. I like how he, just goes at guys and hit guys. I think it was unfair tonight how he was used. He was being played like a top 4 defenseman against a very good group of forwards, and he is not that. He is not that guy. So I would suggest, and 3 and 4 nights to double down on that. So I really feel that this would be an unfair game to judge a player on, because he was playing a role that he is not going to be ever in this year. If Marcus Liam is in your top 4 this year, you've got a big problem.
Something's gone wrong.
Yeah. So or he's improved a ton and taken on lots. So honestly, this for me, I'm going to put NA. I believe that says not available, because it is unfair to judge him on this performance tonight. And to double down, the Oilers had no forwards. They were up to the task to take on a Huberdeau, take on a Kadri, take on a Backlund. And that's no disrespect to the guys that had in the lineup, but the D-men, and I'm a little bit sensitive when it comes to the D-men, were definitely fighting with one arm behind their back tonight. So I don't think this would be any game that I would evaluate Niemelainen on.
It's shocking to me, Struddy, that you have, that you have a little bit of sympathy for a 6'4" plus. He's 6'6".
He's a big guy.
Reasonably skating, physically minded defenseman who's just trying to hang on as a depth guy. It stuns me that you would have some sympathy for that guy.
I'll pick on the forwards. I'll pick on the forwards all night, but I mean, honestly, so if you really ask me, I think, to be honest, I didn't think he had a great night. But again, he played he almost played 20 minutes, didn't he, tonight? I think.
Yeah, he was 19 minutes and 18 seconds. Yeah. Still got on the board for 6 hits. A lot of people feel like the stats that are kept in buildings on hits aren't necessarily great. But there's consistency. Like Niemelainen consistently has more hits than everybody else. So maybe they're not exact, but consistently night after night, he's getting into the hit category. I thought he had a really nice step up tonight on Kadri in particular, right? Yeah. He doesn't discern who is that, and could I get in trouble with Milan Lucic if I run that guy over? He went hard at Kadri. He doesn't care. So I definitely like that. But fair point by you. Great takes on Holloway and Niemelainen. Jay Woodcroft postgame was asked about both those guys. Rob Tychkowski from Post Media is on the road tonight, asking the questions in the locker room, which we appreciate, provides us this sound from Jay Woodcroft.
I thought Dylan made a few good plays with the puck. He was involved in the penalty kill. Penalty kill was good. There's a few small areas that he's got to continue to improve at, but all in all, for his first time in this building, I thought there were some positive signs from him, from big Niemelainen. He was physical. There were some things that happened with the puck with him that, plays he might want to have back here or there, but, he's pushing. That's 3 games and 4 nights for a big fellow like that.
Yeah, you nailed it, Struddy. 3 games and 4 nights for a big fellow like that. I think they tested him here with their decision-making. And overall, I thought he played pretty good in 2 of the 3 games. Maybe looked a little bit behind it tonight. But they were clearly testing some guys. Another guy that they're testing out is Jake Vertannon, right? He's playing a lot right now. And to my eyes, Struddy, he's not playing like a guy who understands that his NHL life might be flashing right before his eyes here. I just haven't noticed much. Tonight was another one of those nights where it was just ho-hum from a guy that should be desperate.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think he really feels that desperate. Judging by the way I've seen him play, I don't feel like he is really doing all he can to get a spot in the NHL. And I'm not just talking about the Oilers. I'm talking about a spot in the NHL. And let's just look at the last goal by Mackenzie Weegar. He was the right winger on that one. And the puck kind of goes up to the half wall. His D-man engages them. And for some reason, Jake Vertannon goes over and engages the guy who's already been engaged by the D-man. Yeah. Now there's 2 people in the spot. Guess where the puck goes? It goes right to the person that Jake Vertannon was standing beside and cleared out from. And that's happened to be Nazem Kadri. The puck then goes over to Mackenzie Weegar, and Tyler Benson's chasing him down. So there's some people talking about, wow, bad play by Benson. Well, why don't you look at why? Let's take a look and talk about why he's so wide open and why Benson didn't do that. So, when you're trying to make a team, when you're trying to make a name for yourself and just to get in the NHL again on a contract, it's, that's not that hard to play. You were in the right place. You left the right place. And I get it. It's out of a spirit of wanting to do something good. But, that's a tough one for me. And when you're in the fourth line, you can't make those plays. You have to make someone beat you. Don't move out to let someone beat you.
Yeah. So you flip over to the Flames and you look at that Bishop, Sutter, McLean line. Those guys are all desperate to play in the NHL, right?
Yeah.
Those guys play the game with desperation. Yeah. They understand the situation and they're in. They were all over that game. They were, with all of the big guns that the Flames had in their lineup, they were really distinguishable in that game. Well, Jake Vertannon hasn't put together 2 or 3 shifts even along those lines yet. I would say really underperforming for a guy that's trying to work his way back to the National Hockey League. And you have a certain amount of patience for him, I'm sure, understanding. Didn't play games in the league last year, was in the KHL. But so far it's been extremely underwhelming. I really wonder how much runway is left here in this PTO for him.
Yeah, I don't think there's much left. And the thing I was looking for was his physicality and his shooting. I think he's good at both those things. Well, in the third period, he had 2 shots in the third period. I wasn't sure if it was 2 pigeons or a pigeon and a dove that he stabbed as he brought his shot up, a stick up to take a shot, a slap shot that took so long. They were both blocked. And you're like, get the puck to the net, like create something, right? And I was an offensive player, but I can see these things where coaches like, what are we doing out here? What are you trying to accomplish? Just get the puck to the net, give your buddies a chance to tip, deflect, rebound, anything off it. And I don't know. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt coming in here and what he could bring. And I've been underwhelmed with low expectations. And I think that's a dangerous game to be playing. If I'm thinking that, what's the team thinking?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's more than fair. Things that bother me in exhibition games from depth or bubble players, especially when you're not playing that well. On the wall in your own zone, and I don't know, maybe it's because I was just constantly yelled at for it back when I played years and years ago, but I always watch how players do under pressure on the wall in their own end and the decisions they make, the plays they make. Mm-hmm. If you're under pressure and you choke up a puck, not ideal, right? Better to make a good play if you can, or just rag it or hang on to it. But those turnovers are going to happen. The ones that drive me nuts are when you're not under pressure at all and you still choke up the puck. Early on in that game, Warren Foegele had one that was just like, oh my God, how do you make that play? Tyler Benson had another one as well. So for me, guys that are in a battle for ice time, for Tyler Benson in a battle for a position, taking care of those little details. Yeah. And I don't know, Struds, you'd think, those would be the guys of all guys that would be trying to dial in these details and just play with a little bit of a sense of desperation in the details of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give those guys a pass a little bit too, and I should Jake as well. I mean, they were playing above their where they should be.
He's played a lot too,
Vertannon. Yeah, and so this is one of those games I think we have to be really careful how we evaluate guys over it. It was they were a lamb being led to slaughter. And I don't know what Jay had to say after, but you can't honestly say that we had we think we had a lineup that could win that game. No, you did not. There was not a lineup that could win that game. You didn't have your starting goalie. Didn't have most of your D. Like, who's the only guy? Barry's the only guy that being your, and then even up front, who is it? McLeod, Foegele,
Ryan. Ryan. There wasn't a lot of regulars.
So we're going to sit here and beat up Tyler Benson or whoever, or a player for not getting a puck on the wall. Well, guess what? Maybe if Darnell Nurse is passing that puck, maybe it's a different play, or it's out. Or if Connor McDavid's at center, or if Connor McDavid's playing against Huberdeau, they're now playing against a different line, right? So it's. And I get that in a game you're not always going to get the matchups you want, but dangerous game here. But there are some patterns, though. I think like the Holloway comments about Holloway, I stand by them because I think that's something I've been waiting for, and that's not beating the player up. That's saying what he's missing is experience. Niemelainen, again, I think it's fair to say that he's not going to be playing 20 minutes for the Oilers this year. It's not going to happen against the top team. The Vertannon, that's a consistent over his games he's played, right? So I think it's one of those games. I don't want to be riding the fence here, but I think we have to be aware of the situation because if the Oilers go back and let's say they spank them 5-0 on Friday, because imagine the team Calgary's sending up. We are going to have to go deep into hockey DB to find some of these guys. I'm talking deep into there to find them. And so if they win 6-0, Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that, and let's say Vertannon plays that game and scores 2 goals? Is Vertannon all of a sudden back into the conversation? I think that's kind of how we have to be careful.
First look at some of the Flames playing together, very preliminary, but what did you think of some of the chemistry early on with, in particular, that Huberdeau line?
Yeah, look good. I think that line looked pretty good. If I'm being completely honest, I was really looking hard at the Backlund, Kadri, Coleman line.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him being Sutter playing Backlund at wing and not at third line center. I can't. I would be blown away. So I was trying to watch how they did. I thought Backlund looked pretty good on the wall, but he's so good in the middle. I mean, the guy wasn't he like top 4 or 5 for Selke votes last year? Like, are you going to take
unreal.
that piece?
Yeah, in that role, he's unreal.
You know what? You're really good at center. We're going to put you on the wing. What? Are you kidding me? It's, like, I think it's a little bit different situation. So I want to see what that line looked like, but I could see Kadri, Coleman, and then, I'm not sure who plays along with him. But that group I'd like to see. But I think that the Flames' advantage will be their goaltending, their D, and their 3 centers. That is what I think, and Huberdeau, obviously. But I think that's where their strength is.
Skinner, a second look for him. Another pretty solid performance, I would say. Probably, maybe wants that one at the end back there, but overall, I think Stuart Skinner has looked fairly composed in there.
I love to use that word because I think he's been very confident and just and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And I think that same thing I've been saying again. You're playing against a pretty tough team and you're overmatched. And I thought he made some nice saves. It wasn't like he was flying around the net. Like he was on it and just grabbed it out of or a quick punch or whatever, right? And I like that. So I always felt it was nice to have a calm goalie behind you. So I want to see more, and I want to see him, more in front of or behind a real team, playing a more real team. But we'll see that. That's going to come in the next, week to 10 days, Sugar.
Yeah, I like the fact they put him in this game. They knew Calgary was going to bring some thunder with their lineup, and they tested Stuart Skinner here fairly early in the exhibition season against a good team, and I thought he acquitted himself really well. Okay, Struds, nice work. I'm trying to figure, I'm distracted. It's not a V-neck, but it's not a regular crew neck. That is a deep, deep cut shirt there, bud.
Yeah, I used to have a buddy named Johnny V-neck, I called him, and he always had these deep ones. I'm like, why do you wear those things? And now I get it. I love it. Like I usually wear a sweatshirt on this. I don't want to, distract you too much, but it's a plunging neckline.
Plunging,
is what they call it.
That is a good word for what is happening there. That's a lot of skin. She does, eh? Shona digs that deal.
Well, after TR and the way he dresses, I'm trying to be a little bit more, dress a little more hashtag too sexy for you.
Yeah. No, is that you look like did you work out? Like, is this kind of sweat that I see in the V? Did you get off the elliptical or something?
No, it's just the light. No, it's just this shadow.
So do you wear that plunging a neckline out into public? Like, would you wear that to dinner, or is that just hanging around the house comfortable?
No. I've wore it. Yeah, last night I went out to see some buddies. And had this shirt just like this, not this one, but one just like it.
Yeah, it was that one.
I have a twin. It has a twin.
Buying not only one but 2 identical plunging neckline, gray T-shirts. Good stuff, Struddy. All right, thanks for joining me on the short shift tonight, Struds. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk on a regular episode of Got Your Back early on next week. Cheers, pal.
Can't wait. Good night, everybody.
All right, that is Jason Strudwick. This was a Got Your Back short shift brought to you by Mid-City Construction Management, a locally owned family company specializing in civil construction projects for over 40 years. And we're so happy that they're on board as title sponsors of our Got Your Back short shift editions this year. Lots more to come from Mid-City. We're going to have some great giveaways courtesy Mid-City Construction this year. I don't want to give it away, but let's just say they got pretty sweet season tickets for the Oil, and they're willing to part with some. So make sure you tune in here on Short Shifts. Cheers, folks. Have yourselves a great evening or day.